are there videos? Does Rhino do videos of like?
Yeah, if you go to rhino3d.com.
Yeah, I know they have like tutorials. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of quick little video snippets you can.
But the other one is up on your.
I'm gonna create a YouTube channel today during
Oh,
class.
okay.
I'll take a break.
On your Blackboard.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. All right. Okay, so let's do the steering wheel. I kind of start looking at this as a couple different parts, and I'm just going to concentrate on maybe the cylindrical part up on top. And this will involve a new command for you. So let's do this. I'm going to look at the overall width of this steering wheel, and I'm just going to make some points within Rhino. Let's see. I've got an overall width. I'm going to call it 23.78. So I'm going to draw a little, I'm going to put a point here in the middle. So I use my point command over on the left. I type in 0, hit enter, and it puts the point in the center of my screen here, center of my grid. I'm going to go to top view here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll highlight that point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy move it. So I'm going to use my copy command over here on the left. I'm going to click that once. It says point to copy from. I'll go ahead and snap right to this point. And the reason I can snap to it is because my object snaps on the left. I make sure that I have point selected over here. So we'll snap to it. So I'll click and it says, all right, point to copy to. I'll go ahead and type in the width here, 23.78. So 23.78, enter. And I'll kind of take my cursor and hover over to the right here, and I'll hold shift down so it locks straight, and a left click, and I'll hit enter, and now I have 2 points. And these points represent the outermost points of this handlebar. Now I'll make a couple more points that represent just the centerpiece of that, the straight centerpiece of the handle itself. I've got to make more sense when I draw it here. 7.82. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this point. I'm going to hit enter so I repeat that copy command, copy paste, move command, left click, and I'm going to move it 7.7 or 7.8, enter. I'm going to grab this one over here and do the same thing, move it 7.8, go that way. Now I'm going to grab the 2 center ones here, 2 center points. I'm going to take a measurement here, and I'm going to move that I'm measuring the offset of that handlebar so I can figure out what this angle is or close to it. I'm going to move these 2 millimeters, and because I have my arrow keys set up to just move in 1 millimeter increments, I'm just going to tap them up like this. So looking at a top view, you start to see an angle here. I'll go ahead and draw a polyline between these points so you get an idea of what I'm doing here. So if you're looking down on your steering wheel, you should see, this shape, basically. That make sense?
How did you get that shape from just drawing a line?
These points represent, this point represents the outermost point of the steering wheel on the left, or handlebar.
I'm just wondering where you got the curve, the slant from. Did you just
I just connected the dots. These were here, and then I moved them up 2 millimeters.
Oh, okay.
And then just connected the dots. Just so you can see that it's taking the shape of the handlebars. So yeah, at this point, I'm going to draw a polyline between the points. Boom, 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 like that. Showing a perspective view what we're doing here. So it's looking like this. Now I look at it from, let's say, a front view, and I notice that there is a slight angle up on the handlebars too. Just slight. So I'm going to measure what that might be. I just have to eyeball it. It's like maybe a millimeter. So what I mean by that is these outermost, I'm going to go to a different view now, my front view. I'm going to grab the two outer points on the handlebar and tap them up like that. So now let me connect the dots here. Points. Click, 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 enter. So from a top view, it's looking like this. From a front view, it's looking like this. Does that make sense? Does anyone know what command we use right now if we want to make a pipe around this whole line? All right.
How do you get the line to move the point?
I just redrew this line,
Oh.
but if you wanted to, any line that you, let's say I'll just draw a poly line here, like that. I can select this poly line and turn the control points on right here on the left. And now I can actually grab a control point, I can tap it around with my arrow key or move it with my mouse. And I could have done that. I could have drew the line, turned on the control points, and moved them with these points that I put in the scene. Same thing. So let's make this a solid. So I'm going to grab my line, do solid, pipe. Solid, pipe. Create pipe around curve is the command. Left click that. And I'm measuring how large that pipe is on the handlebar. I've got 3.11 overall diameter, 3.14, I'm going to call it 3.15.
Where was pipe again?
Under solid,
Oh, okay.
pipe. You go down about this far.
And then you just click. Yeah, but on your actual piece, when you click to get started, you're just clicking on the ends.
I'm clicking on the line,
Oh, okay.
on that poly line. Solid pipe. Now, this defaults and it says what's your starting radius. I'm going to do a diameter instead, so I'm going to make sure I click diameter in my command line. And I'm going to type in 3.15, enter. There's some things you can do here. You can cap it, flat, or round. Let me see what round does. Good. So you get something that looks like this.
So you're just hitting 3.15 on all of the intersections that it's giving you? Or?
Yeah, let me go through it one more time here. Escape. All right, so do you have a polyline like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so now go solid,
Yeah.
pipe. It says, okay, what's your starting diameter or radius? I'm going to change mine to diameter. I said 3.15. There's a cap option. Make sure that's set to round. You want to cap these and round off the ends. Hit done. And then just basically hit enter. You have a starting diameter and an ending diameter. So if I wanted to, I could start one end at 3.15, and as it goes to the other end, I could actually make it bigger, let's say 6, as my end diameter, and watch what happens here. It started off at 3 millimeters and it ramped up to 6 and it crashed a little bit, but we don't want that. So to select my polyline, solid, pipe, I'm gonna make sure I'm set to 3.15, enter, and I'm just gonna hit enter again because it's asking for my end diameter. I want 3.15, yes, enter, enter. I can go up and use my shade command, shade it, make sure it looks like the steering wheel we're going for. So what's wrong here?
Did you already put the rounded edges on it yourself, or did it give it?
No, that option is an under solid pipe.
Okay,
It's in your command line. It says rounded.
around it, okay.
So what's wrong with this?
Caps make it longer than.
All right, exactly. So I'm going to use my analyze tool. I'm going to figure out how much longer making this cap on here is extending that command. So I'm going to do a solid, or actually, sorry, analyze distance. I'm going to go from the end point here on that line to the end point here, or quad. And it's going to tell me distance. I look down, it says 1.575. So 1.575, let me take note of that. 1.575. So that being said, I'm going to take this point and I'm going to move it from here, and I'm going to make sure near is selected on my object snaps so it will ride right on this line nicely. And I'm going to type in 1.575, enter, and I'm moving that point to here, like that. And I'll do the same for the other side. I'll highlight this point. I'm going to just type in my command line, move, enter. I'm going to snap to that point. I'm going to tell it, hey, I want to go 1.575, enter. And I'm going to snap to this line, that poly line, make sure that that point rides right on this line to there. At this point, I'm just going to take this handlebar solid and I'm just going to delete it. I'll select my poly line here, and I'm going to use my split command. I'll either type in split or use the icon here. I'm just going to use my icon. It says select cutting objects. I'm going to highlight these points now that I put on that line, and those will actually cut that line. I'll take that and I'll delete it. Take that and I'll delete it. So now it's a little bit shorter, but when we pipe it, so I'll highlight it, solid pipe. .15, it remembers from last time. Yes, I want my starting diameter, 3.15, enter. I want my ending diameter, 3.15, yep, looks good, enter. Enter. All right. Go ahead and shade it. Make sure you have a good solid. Now, I'm going to go to a side view. We've worked in a top view right here. We've worked in a front view. I'm going to go to a side view or right or left view. Right now, I can even hide this solid just for simplicity's sake. I'll go to my side view here. I'm going to draw a curve or a circle at this end point right here. I'm going to do the diameter 3.515. Is that what was the diameter of our solid that we made? 3.15? Let's see.
Yeah. Did you just delete your pipe and then you're on back in?
No, I hit it.
Oh, okay.
I left click on it, and you can use the hide button up here on your deal. But I forgot what we had. Let me make sure. I'm going to do solid pipe here real quick. See what that, yeah, 3.15. Okay, good. So let me hide that. I'm going to go to side view. I'm going to draw a circle. 3.15. Enter. So you see what I did here? I just drew a circle 3.15 from a side view right on this point. Because, I'm going to go to my side view here again. I'm going to draw another, let's see here. Go ahead and draw another circle. And I'll do it off that same point. And this one's going to be the diameter of the bottom of the handlebar here, that circle down at the bottom, which I'm getting 4.8. So I'm going to type in 4.8, enter. Now, on the front of this handlebar, those two circle sections are lined up, if you will. So I'm going to type in move, enter, go to my perspective view here. I'm going to lock onto the quad of this circle and move it to the quad of that circle. So I just did the move command, and I locked onto the quads and moved this one to that one.
What's the diameter of that inner circle?
3.15.
And you also have this 4.8.
Yeah. Yep. Change this view to the left. Keep it right. That's fine. So I'm just going to tap the circle down so you can start to see what we're doing here. Actually, I'm going to align. I'm going to use the align command and align this large circle with the bottom of the small circle. So I select both of them. I either type in the command line align, or I'm going to go up to my transform tab up here on top, come down until you see align here. Left click align. And it says, okay, where do you want to align these two objects? I want to align them both on the bottom of the circles, so I'm going to say bottom. Click that. And now they're aligned on the bottom, but then you want to put, okay, they're aligned now, but where do you want to place them? I want to place them right here. So there we go. The reason I align them on, is it the, no. Scratch that. I'm going to draw a cheater line here. We need the overall depth, or yeah, the overall depth of this part, which I have, I'll call it 10. So I'm going to draw a curve from the top of the circle down 10 millimeters. I'm holding shift. I just typed in 10 to right there. Enter. Now I need this circle to line up to the bottom of this line. So I can use that alignment tool to do that, or I can just grab this circle and I can type in move, enter. I can lock onto the quad here. Hold shift so it comes down straight. And I'm going to tap tab so it locks it on that trajectory, and then I'm going to lock it to the end of this line, like that. Do that again. Grab the circle, type in move, left click on quadrant, I'm gonna hold shift so it's going in one direction. I'm gonna tap tab so it's locked to that direction. Then I come up to the bottom of this line, I hover over the bottom of it and lock to the end and then left click. That moves it there. So now I'm just going to draw two vertical lines coming down from the top circle. One from this quad connecting to this quad. And one from this quad just coming down. I'm just going to overshoot the big circle and just come into it a little bit. Hold my shift down so it's nice and straight, left click. Then I'll grab, select the large circle, small circle, and those two lines I just made. I'm going to use my trim command. Trim that away, trim that away, trim that away. So we got that.
How did you get the distance? Like how far did you move the?
Yeah,
I measured the overall depth of the part,
yeah.
and I drew a cheater line from the top, which was 10 millimeters. So I drew from here, typed in 10, enter, nothing. So I knew that was the overall depth of the part. So I knew how far to bring down that large circle. Okay.
How'd you know how far to push it forward? You just,
The circle here,
yeah.
it looks like both circles are lined up on their quadrants on this
Okay,
side.
cool.
They're even on the one side, and then
So then you move that down to a quadrant? How do you move it down a line?
what, this guy?
Yeah.
So I would, here's my side view. You select that circle, and this could be anywhere. It could be down here. I'm gonna type in move, enter, I lock onto the quad, left click, so I'm locked onto it. Now I'm gonna use the shift tab to lock it to that direction, and then I just hover over to the end of that line, left click. Takes it to it, okay? Now go ahead and I'm just going to draw a line between those quadrants, and that should be straight down because we lined those up earlier. I'm going to draw another line from here to here. Grab these and that, and go ahead and trim to get that. Then I'll select all these. They're all single lines at this point and curves. I'm going to join them all to make one closed polyline. Curve. Now, I'm going to draw another circle. Let's do this. Let's extrude this now. Do solid. Extrude planar curve straight. Oops. Solid. Extrude planar curve straight. And I'm going to extrude it that thickness that you see on the steering wheel. I got 2.24. I'm going to double check a couple things here. 2.26. I'll go in the middle. 2.25. So I'm going to type in 2.25. Enter. Now it went the other direction. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the command. I'm going to do negative 2.25. So I'll shade this. Now we have an extrusion here, or a solid, if you will. I can take that solid and I can either copy and move it over to the other side, or I'm just going to use the mirror command. I'm going to mirror this over. Enter. Go from this midpoint of that line that we originally made, and I hold shift so I've got a nice straight mirror plane. And I left click. You get that. If If I unhide, that's what it's looking like. So now we just have this cylinder in the middle, and that's the last piece of this. So I'm going to go to a side view. I'm going to draw a circle. From the center, I hover over the edge of the bottom here, and it's locking to the center. I'm going to draw a circle at what? 3.19. 3.18, 3.15. I'm just going to call it 3.15. So 3.15, enter. So I have this circle now from a side view. I look over here. It's like, okay, it's right there. And do a solid extrude, planar curve, straight. Do that again. Solid. Extrude planar curve straight. I did not mean to click that there. Let me repeat it. There we go. Now let's hover over to this side, like that. So now you have this. Now these are all separate solids right now, or extrusions. So what I'd like to do is I'll click on all my solids. And how will I join these together? Yep, Boolean join right here. Remember, we don't use the regular join command for solids. We only work with Boolean commands, which is right here, Boolean union. I left click that. Now, if I click on any part of the part, it grabs it all because it is one solid piece now. Like so. Whoa. Oh, I'm just doing the curves down there.
Yeah, I know how I noticed when we were setting up with this one back and changed a few things. So,
Is there a solid piece that comes down? Did I miss that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's like a little square part here. So,
Alright.
yeah.
Add that to it.
Why does it keep?
So that, you did radius instead of diameter. So that's why that handlebar is so big up there. So go ahead and delete that. Oh, actually you just have to undo back out of it. When you do the solid pipe command, it'll ask you, do you want a radius or diameter? You may have selected. I'll show you where you make that option. So solid pipe. And click on diameter there. There you go. Now put 3.15. Enter. There you go. Looks a little better, huh?
How come it keeps giving like the insides cut away?
Because there's something wrong with the curve.
Okay.
So let me see your that for the original curve. So you have to trim all that and join it together.
Okay.
Into one single line.
You have to do, and switch it to diameter, so
Yeah,
that is.
just trim that. Yep.
And then it should work fine.
Well,
I mean, I would
You pulled
sur-
up.
Yeah, I would surface it, but I did line work.
Why don't you take this time to go ahead and just work on it here, alright?
Where was, we having some issues or no? Yeah, I was just, I did the diameter, and, or the radius, not the diameter. Okay. Yeah.
What? No, just hollow completely.
And then go on there, do that evening.
Surface, the other one. Okay.
You gotta join them.
Oh, like with the, this?
No, join command. For curves, use the join command.
Should puzzle piece or just type in join.
Yep, just join.
Oh,
Now show you
interesting,
one.
that's just all one piece.
If it doesn't join, that means there's something wrong with your curves, they're not touching right. Didn't trim them right or something. Like, see that little
Yeah.
tail there? Whenever you have that issue from the get-go, now don't trim it in the perspective view because it has trouble trying to figure that out. Yeah, it goes to the side view. There you go. Oh, you don't have to turn that, it says escape.
And then move the selection of the, wait. Just, yeah, join that join. And trim.
Alright, cool, so if there's any like stragglers, it won't,
Stragglers or the curves aren't all joined together into one closed curve.
okay.
Tim, I have a question for you.
Go through the shape and then stuff goes like.
So in order to make this, to extrude this, do these have to be joined together in order so it knows? Because anytime I extrude it, like it just leaves it, it's not capped, it's like wide open.
Wait, those have the, those curves need to be
that.
To touch together, right? And you
touch and join.
Touch and join, yeah. Is that
Yeah, that should work.
That should work, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Alright.
Just make sure you're solid.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, does it matter if like, you know how it's like touches this end and gives you like a crease? That won't show up in like a real, okay.
No, but to that point, if you don't like that, and I don't like to see that often in models like this, so what I would do, if you guys want to make this really clean, before you make this cross member here, I would tap it in a little bit. Let's use my arrow key and I'm going to tap it this way to where it's in the center of this block. And I'll do a solid extrude planar curve straight, and I'll just bring it over anywhere really in here is fine. Then when you boolean those together, you don't get that circle on the end, that extra surface down here on the sides, which is good. Now there is a piece on here I didn't, well, is it? Yeah. Huh. Ah. So,
What do you mean?
someone brought to my attention there's a little square piece. It's a little square underneath the handlebar, which it is. Right now, this is round here, but it's actually should be square. So, to that point, let's do this. I'm going to draw a Mhm.
show.
See here, I'm gonna go back to my native curves. I'm gonna take this cross section that we made over here, this guy. I'm gonna control copy, paste, I'm gonna move it from that quad to that quad. I'm gonna move it again, copy and paste, or just use my move command over here. From that quad to this quad. So basically I wanted two cross-section curves here. I'm gonna hide everything else. I'm gonna do the hide, invert selection, and hide objects command. That hides everything else. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna use my 3-point circle command. Just draw a curve there that represents that handlebar going through there. I'm gonna draw a line here in the front off this quad to this quad. I'm gonna take that circle. I'm gonna draw a single line from this quad. I'm gonna hold shift, make sure everything's going straight. I'm gonna tap tab, lock it to that direction. Just gonna hover over the end of this line and click there. So I get these two lines like that. And go to my front view. We've got these two lines here. I'm just gonna tap them over to the side. I'm gonna turn project on. Project on my object snaps, because I'm gonna draw a rectangle from one end of this curve to the other end of this curve. And what that did, I have this rectangle now, and it made it flat on the 0 plane here, or C plane. Just gonna tap that back over.
So what command was that made it flip? They just flip the planes?
What's that? Project.
Oh, okay.
Option down here in the lower left under object snaps. And that just means if I, notice I drew these two kind of cheater lines, if you will. I drew one line from,
I don't know, it's, what is it under? Because mine looks a little bit different than yours, so it'd be under,
hang on, let me, oh, project?
yeah, it's
It'd
just
be,
one of the-
it's still,
one of the
it's
buttons?
down
Yeah.
below,
Okay.
do you see it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, alright, good. So at that point I just drew a line from this quad to this quad. I'd drawn a circle. I could draw it several different ways. I'll do center radius this time, so I draw it from the center there to, go to side view here. Oh, I still have project on, that's why it's not working. Okay. So there. If you have project on, I only use it rarely or when needed, otherwise leave project off. Anyway, I drew another circle here, so I knew I could draw a line from this quadrant, this direction. I'm going to tap tab and then lock to the end of that curve. So I got these two cheaters, if you will. I'll go to a front view right here. I'm going to draw a rectangle, point to point, just this first default rectangle option. make sure I have project on now, because I'm gonna lock to the end of that cheater line and to the end of that cheater line. And look over here, I just drew this rectangle. Go from the side view, it's gonna move it, type in move, enter. I'm gonna go from the end here, oops. Go from the end here, holding shift so I can lock it to this direction. I'm gonna hold tab. I'm gonna bring it over, lock it to that quadrant right there. So basically I move the rectangle to the face of these circles. Now I'll do a solid extrude planar curve straight and lock it to the quadrant of the back of these circles here. So basically I did all that work to make this little detail here to make it look flat, just like that. Basically just drew a cube in here, or solid rectangle if you will, that is even with the quadrant or bottom of these circles and even with both sides of them. So it looks like that. Then I should be able to, if everything goes right, grab that extrusion, grab this handlebar and these other parts and pieces and Boolean those together, Boolean join. Hopefully it worked. There we go. So it's like that. But if you do have a square piece here, it should not extend down below the circle. It should line up with the quadrant of the circle, or the handlebar coming through. That was the tricky part. Why we went through some of the other things there. They join together, okay? Nice. Okay. That's square, perfect. So yeah, not exactly right, but do it as side view or front view. Man, I was just looking for that. But there's something going on there. This piece isn't exactly lined up with the handlebar.
Oh, what did that? Also, you're like the level part first, and it kind of breaks.
There's a little break to do that. All right. Look good?
Do you want those little holes in front of it? It's not really matter, those are just for injection molding, right?
Oh, those two little holes?
Yeah, is that those
You
little
can
out?
you can add them. You know, the more details you put in like that, the more realistic it'll look at the end of the day when you're rendering these. Just those little details make it more realistic. So yeah, if you, first of all, I want to make sure you have the overall shape and idea down, and then yeah, definitely go in there and add those circles if you got the time. So I'll do it here too. What are those things? 0.78, 0.7. that circle, and I will mirror it to the other side. That. Know how, I have no idea how deep they are, but just make something that represents it. I'll extrude those two circles straight and then do a Boolean difference. So looks like this. Grab this brand new solid, a Boolean difference, grab these two, enter. Like that. Good.